Web servers. What are web servers? Those which serve. So this web servers is a combination of a hardware and software, but essentially it is a software only. So a server is that computer that will serve the client, and the entire structure of the internet is based on client-server model. So web server helps to deliver web content through the internet, which can be accessed, and the most common use of this web server is to host website. Web server is that place, that area, that memory where you place your websites, and the internet is not only used to fetch the information, but internet can be used for gaming, data storage, running business application. So this is the idea of web server. You have a web server program here. We'll talk about that web server, and this is a huge machine that contain that web server program, and these are the clients, different clients which through internet interacts with it. They ask for certain page, it will return that page. It asks for gaming, it will render the gaming. So the primary job of this web server is to deliver web page to client. So the communication between the client, this client and the server, they take place using generally HTTP, hypertext transfer protocol, in order to get the page. So this delivered web pages, they may include images, style sheets, scripts, audio, video, whatnot. When we have server software, whenever we are dealing with the web server, we are talking about server software. Web server, also known as application server or HTTP server. Let me tell you that web server is different from application server. Actually, web server is a part of application server. So web server is a part of application server. So this is a program that serves content using what protocol? HTTP protocol. So this content is generally in the form of, say, HTML documents, the images, various resources. It can include any type of file. The content which is served by the web pages, they can be static, they can be dynamic. Let us see some server software. Apache web server, or you can say HTTP web server. This is from Apache Software Foundation. This is free and open source web server, and this can be installed in various operating systems. Most of the web server machines, they run on Apache web server. Then we have Apache Tomcat. This is again a free and open source web server. This is again, and this can run again on various operating systems as listed here. So it was developed to support the servlets and JSP scripts, Apache Tomcat. So it can also serve as a simple standalone server. LightPD, Jigsaw, there are various others. So LightPD is a free web server distributed with FreeBSD operating system. So if you have a FreeBSD operating system in this, you will already have this LIGHT TPD, or you can say LIGHTTPD. This is open source web server, quite fast, secure, and this consumes less CPU power. It can run on various operating systems. Then we have Jigsaw. This is World Wide Web Consortium server, WWW. So this is introduced by WWW Consortium. This is a consortium which deals with web content. So it is open source and free, and this can run on again various operating systems. This is written in Java, so it can run CGI script and PHP programs. So what are these services which are provided by servers? There are so many services which now web server provides, and these today we have cloud computing, this software as a service, infrastructure as a service. There are so many things which cloud computing provide. So cloud computing is a distributed computing over a network. So you can just buy an infrastructure, you can buy a software. Why to purchase a software when you have a software which you can use on per pay basis? This is used, there is a large number of computers, this can be connected real-time communication on the internet, and this is how this services, various humongous servers provide you the service. So these web servers, they are cost efficient, they provide the resource sharing, they are providing the data sharing, and of course the day backup and recovery if you are aware that if your things fall down or your system fall down, you always have something to recover. What are the type of server? There are different type of server. Mail server. The mail server, they provide centrally located pool of disk space for network to store and share the documents in the form of emails. So since all the data is stored in one location, the administrator need only backup files from one's computer. Then we have application server. Now this application server, because you are dealing with some application. Every company has their own application. So this application server, it acts as a set of component accessible to the software developer through application programming interface API defined by that platform itself. For web application, these components are usually performed in the same running environment as its web server, and therefore their main job is to support the construction of dynamic pages. FTP, when you want to send and receive files, large files, FTP, file transfer protocol, uses separate control and data connection between client and server. So FTP users may authenticate themselves in the form of, say, username and password, but they can connect anonymously also from here to here. And for secure transmission, we have username, password along with the SSL, that is the secure socket SSL layer. We also have database server, because most of the application they have database on the background. So this database server is again a computer program that provides database services to other computer programs or computers using client server model. So this DBMS or database management system, they provide database server functionality, and most of the DBMS, they depend and they are on client server model for database access. So such server is accessed either through, say, front end running on the user computer where you create a request, or you can have a back end where the request is served, such as data analysis, storage, etc. Then we have domain name system, DNS server. So this is basically a translation scheme. So the name server is a computer that is a computer server that will host networking services for providing response to queries. So it is actually a translation. Whenever you write something on, say, a web browser, that www.yahoo.com is nothing by itself. It has a translation, that is an IP address where this www.yahoo.com is being stored. Actually, Yahoo is stored. Yahoo is the name of that folder which is kept in some IP. So it maps a numeric identification, we call it as IP or addressing component. So this service is provided by the server in response to network service protocol, which is the request. So what is the primary idea or function of this DNS server? This is just the resolution or translation of human memorable domain names and host names into the corresponding numeric, which is the IP address where that Yahoo folder is stored. So the secondary function of DNS is to recognize a namespace of the internet in order to identify and locate the computer system and resources of the internet.